All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to Prime Nutrition's workout series. This week we have Marissa Rivero, IFBB Bikini Pro, and we're at Busybody Fitness in Boca Raton. Marissa, before we get started, I wanted to just say hi and introduce you. And we're watching you drink your supplements, your Prime Nutrition supplements. What's your favorite ones?
I usually stick to the fat burner and the pre-workout. I'll do a lot of the aminos, and just actually recently started using the phytoform, which I had never tried with any other company, any kind of greens, and I've actually fallen in love with it.
Yeah, that's one of the things we really focused on, is making the greens formula. Actually, all the products taste good, and I think that I haven't tasted all of them, but I think it's pretty safe to say that as far as complete fruits and greens formulas go, that ours tastes the best. So let's talk about leg training. So we're going to be watching you do some of your leg training for the day. You do your hams, quads, glutes. Before we get started with the actual training itself, tell me a little bit about you. How did you get started in fitness and bikini in general?
Well, fitness, my dad has always been really big with keeping in shape and eating healthy, so I was always kind of surrounded by it. And I started training with somebody who competed at the gym, and she kind of pushed me into it, and ever since then I never looked back.
You know, you have the benefit of working with somebody, Ingrid Rivero and her Team Edge, that is has a lot of experience specifically with bikini. How much do you think that they've played a role in your success?
Oh, I would be nowhere without Ingrid or Joe and Team Edge. They've pretty much made me who I am, especially with I had no idea how to do training or diets for competitions, and when I found them, it was like, I mean, they made it so easy. You
know, you are shorter. You're petite. How tall are you?
I am only 5 feet tall.
Oh, you're really tiny. Now, because you're so short, do you find? See, I know a lot of bikini girls that are like the A class. You know, that's the short class. Right. That they find that they hold muscle easier, or that they retain muscle, and that they even gain muscle. Is that something you have to be concerned about? That you don't want to be too muscular at your height for bikini? I mean. Right.
Well, that's one of the things that I've actually had to work on. I actually gain muscle very easily, and I guess it is because I'm so tiny. So when I would do legs hard, like really heavy, and my quads grew out of control. So for the past like 8 or 12 weeks of my last prep, I had to completely stop all leg training. So I was only doing cardio on leg days, running, trying to slim down my legs because they were too stumpy.
What about your contest history? I haven't. So a lot of people know you, and honestly, how we got to know you and decided to start working with you was from your Instagram. You have a very, very big Instagram following. But as far as actual competing, you were an NPC athlete. You obviously got your pro card, and now are an IFBB athlete. Give us a little bit of your contest history, and I know it happened pretty fast for you.
Yeah. I did my first show, which was the NPC SoCal in, I think it was June 8th, and I did obviously Class A, and I got first, and that qualified me automatically for nationals, any national show. But then I decided that I would do one more show, kind of just to get my feet wet before I hit the national stage. So I did the NPC Anna level, and I got first again. So then my coach was like, well, you just got to do it. You just got to do USA. So I kind of just jumped into it. I actually didn't want to do it, but they kind of pushed me to do it. And then I won my pro card. I got second place in Class A and won.
So in 3 shows and in the period of just a few months, you went from a total novice to an IFBB pro.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah,
it happened so fast.
Well, when you got it, right? I mean,
yeah.
That's the one thing. Now, my question is, like, for you, you know, somebody who has had success so quickly, how do you have to improve? Like, when you look at yourself, what do you see yourself needing to improve upon? Because obviously you've had so much success. Right. Is it just a matter of coming in the same as you were before, or is there something you look at that needs to change?
No, even when I would I remember the morning of my shows, I would look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I'm not ready. So I always knew that I always know that if there's something to work on. Nobody's perfect, and there will always be something that needs to be worked on. And for me, it's always going to be my legs because that's where I carry most of my weight and my muscle. So I already knew coming into this pro show I'd have to bring down my legs at least 50%.
Let's talk about Instagram for a second.
Sure.
Since this is the place where I've met you, and a lot of people that are watching the video now are probably either following you on Instagram or hopefully after this video they're going to go follow you on Instagram. What's the deal with Instagram? How did you get started with this, and what do you attribute your popularity to?
How I got started? I started Instagram, I think, right before I decided to start dieting and competing, just because I wanted, I don't know, just to have like some way of finding other competitors and seeing what other people are doing. And once I started posting up my progress pictures and people started following my my updates and my shows, kind of just went out of control from there, and people just started following me. I don't know. It must be pretty cool to go from obviously nobody recognizing you to going to the Arnold last week. I would imagine a lot of people recognize you based on your Instagram. Is that right? Yeah. It's weird for me because I'm not used to it. And when people do come up to me all excited and asking me for my picture, I'm like, who am I? But at the same time, it's obviously very flattering, and I'm happy to have an impact on people, especially a lot of females come up to me and tell me how I'm their motivation and their inspiration, so definitely keeps me going.
You know, it's funny because I know, because we watch your Instagram closely, because obviously you're a Prime Nutrition athlete and everything, but it's funny because you get respect from the girls, like these girls who came up to you and said this, and you obviously get the guys. I find that a lot of the girls on Instagram that have the kind of popularity that you do just get the dudes looking at them, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you cross over and have that interest in the girls also. Do you have any idea of why that is? What makes you appealing to these girls where they come up to you, whereas in other girls it seems like almost, I mean, I don't want to say this is always it, but a lot of times I get the feeling like the other girls are like, bitch, you know, they don't like them, you know?
Well, I always wanted to appeal more to the female crowd anyways, because I mean, having guys that tell you, oh my god, you're so hot, whatever, it's great and everything, but at the end of the day, it's not going to do as much for me as like having an impact on girls, because if I'm trying to sell products, obviously the girls are the ones that are going to go for it. The guys are just going to sit there and tell me, oh wow, you're so great.
Sure.
Woman Crush Wednesday.
Guys are easy, right? The guys are easy.
Right.
Let's talk about the guy that captured your heart. A lot of people out there, myself included, who follow bodybuilding know Frank McGrath. He's almost iconic in bodybuilding for the animal advertisements of him. And he's been around a long time, also an IFBB pro, bodybuilder in this case. How did you meet Frank, and what do you got to say about the guy?
It's funny how I met Frank. It's actually a very long story, but let's cut it short and just say it was also through Instagram. What was that second part?
And what do you have to say about him? Give us some insight on Frank McGrath.
Frank is a special character just because he's so different from so many other people, because he doesn't have his head in the clouds. You know, he's very realistic, and he can push anybody. I feel like if he has the type of mentality that there's always somebody out there that's going to have it worse than you are, and to stop and not push through whatever it is that you're going through would be stupid, because you don't know how far you can go if you just let yourself, you know, kind of not go for what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, and he's very motivational. I've never met anybody that's so inspiring in my life. He's actually awesome. Really helped me, because I have hope. He gives me hope in this future of bikini for me.
That's cool. Well, you guys are. I think it's safe to say that you guys are now like a industry power couple, which is an interesting phenomenon in itself. Meeting on Instagram, yeah. And it shows you what the social media and what the world is like these days. That that this has happened, and it's really cool. I got to say that we're very happy to have you on Team Prime Nutrition, and you're our girl star athlete. So it's a pleasure to have you on here and to do this video, and I hope we do a lot more.
Yes, definitely.